Hello, everyone. My name is Raven. I use she, her pronouns, and I am the Rainbow Veteran. In this week's episode, I'm going to give a very simple breakdown of veteran benefits, and I want to put a big caveat here at the top of the episode. I am not a veteran service officer or a VSO. I am not a veterans benefit expert or lawyer, and I never played one on TV either. This information is primarily coming from the VA websites, their pamphlets, the Veterans Health Benefits Handbook that I got when I got my first claim to go through, and even some subreddits on Reddit website, specifically r/veterans benefits. And I want to talk about this because I did the basics of LGBT episode, and I want to do this episode. I want to talk about the benefits that every veteran should have access to. Now, I'm going to do longer, more deep dive episodes down the road. I will be talking about, if you're service connected, what claims you can get, or what benefits you get if you're service connected. I'm going to be talking about, college veterans and those, educational benefits, VRE. I'm going to be talking about a lot of the other stuff that specific groups can get, but I really want to talk about the general stuff today. And I'm going to be going over mental health first. So thanks to some bills that passed between 2016 to 2018, and I think the last one that updated it was in 2022, if I recall correctly, veterans have access to mental health, and that care was expanded to help veterans regardless of their discharge, lack of service connection, or time in service. Because it used to be you have to serve at least 2 years, even if you're not service connected, or your disability rating was below 50%, I believe, because at 50% you get everything. I'm going to be going over that in the pamphlet here in a minute, but they got rid of that. So up until, as of right now, 2027, this is all set for. Veterans can get their first 3 visits for the mental health facilities at any VA hospital per year for free of charge, no co-pays. After that, I believe you're in priority group 8, I believe, or below that, which is no priority group, where they will take your insurance and kind of help with that, I believe. But definitely talk to your mental health team at the VA to actually get a more accurate understanding of how their system works. Now, I do know that therapists and the teams can determine that a veteran needs more than that they can qualify them or put them in for emergency therapy care. And this will help the veteran not have to worry about any of the costs, no co-pays, and they're going to do what they can to make sure that they still get care. It's not for a whole lot. I believe it is still under 10 additional sessions, but still, it helps you kind of get the ball rolling for things. And in fact, this is how I got my help with my PTSD claim. I went to the VA because I already had the diagnosis of PTSD, but I realized after my last therapist and I kind of worked on stuff before they moved, I didn't really have a full connection of where was the cause. It was just, here's the symptoms, you have this, we need to figure out, and then he ended up moving. So I went to the VA to kind of talk about things and learned that it's tied to MST, unfortunately. And so I was getting the care, went to the trauma team, started getting care through that to try to help. And I was able to get more current documentation for my mental health rating. And I want to also add that thanks to the expansions, the suicide hotline 988 got a lot more resources and better training as well. However, I do also want to say that thanks to the executive orders and the hiring freeze, we did just lay off 1,000 people who work at the VA hospital. Some have gotten their jobs back, but not a lot have. And some that worked for the suicide hotline. As well as in a previous episode, I believe I talked about this, they got rid of the some of the training and resources because it was helping LGBT veterans, which I think is really stupid. And a little side tangent. I actually talked to someone higher up about that and how it's stupid, and I got a call from the suicide hotline itself because I said the word suicide talking to someone in the VA system, and it flagged me. So, yeah, that was interesting. But at least it knows that like they are actually making sure that everyone's okay. Where was I? Okay, there are multiple methods of care and styles of receiving care. You can receive in-person or telemed appointments. There's one-on-one appointments or even group therapy sessions too. I've done both. I've done some in-person. I've done some telemed. I've done single therapy sessions, and I've done group therapy sessions. Even if the therapy isn't service-connected, they can help with things like anxiety, depression, PTSD, bipolar disorder, schizophrenia, effects of TBI, substance use, MST, suicide prevention, tobacco use, and transitional support for service members, as well as life things happening for older veterans and much more. Unfortunately, a lot of care at the VA requires a few things to have before a veteran can get them. And sometimes when a veteran is struggling financially, they may qualify for care at the VA without being service connected. And a lot of that ties to what priority group you're in. Now, the VA uses priority groups to break down what care each group can and can't receive. And I'm actually going to open up my Veterans Health Benefit Handbook to kind of talk about that real fast. I am going to try to edit out any of the book page noises as best as I can, but if you do hear any of that, I do apologize. So we're going to start with Priority Group 8. It is the lowest of the tiers. Let's see. Veterans with gross household incomes above the VA national income limit and the geographically adjusted income limit for the resident location who agrees to pay copays. So if you're above the poverty line, and you're basically saying, hey, you're okay for, if you're okay paying copays, you're going to be in this group. So veterans eligible for enrollment, non-compensationable, 0% service-connected, and sub-priority enrolled as of January 16th, 2003, who have been enrolled since that date or placed in this sub-priority due to change of eligibility status, or enrolled on or after June 15th, 2009, whose income exceeds the current VA national income limits or VA national graphic income limits by less than 10%. So even if you are just above that poverty line, if you're just barely over it, you can still get help, which is great because some veterans are homeless, and that is a sad thing to deal with. Speaking from personal experience. All right, then we're going to Group 7. Veterans whose gross household income is below the geographically adjusted income limit for their resident location based on zip code who agrees to pay copays. So again, you still have to pay copays, but getting the care is usually a lot cheaper, and the copays are pretty cheap from my understanding. So it's not a huge loss, even if you don't have insurance, and I think it's a great way to go through. All right, now here we go is priority group 6. You have compensable 0% service-connected veterans, like some things are rated at a 0, and some of them that's as low as they go. Radiation-exposed veterans, Project 112, or SHAD participants, World War II veterans, Vietnam herbicide veterans, or Agent Orange. Veterans of the Persian Gulf War that served between August 2nd of 1990 and November 11th, 1998. Veterans stationed at Camp Lejeune between August 1st of 53 and December 31st of 87. Veterans who served in a theater of combat operations after November 11th, 1998, and was discharged from active duty. This is also adding between 9/11/01 and September 30th, 2013, and completed enrollment between October 1st, 2022 and September 30th, 2023. Now, that is something that was added in that additional bill in 22, I believe, but I could be mistaken. Let's see, it has a note, at the end of this 1-year special enrollment period, veterans will be assigned to the highest priority group for which they qualify. And then on or after October 1st, 2013, and have met the minimum active duty service requirement will have 10 years of enhanced eligibility from the date of discharge or release. They have a note here that says, at the end of this 10-year enhanced eligibility period, veterans will be assigned to the highest priority group from which they qualify. So if you have any of these, it can actually help you a lot with getting documentation for any claims. And that can help a lot just making sure that you have care. Because, everyone deserves care, in my opinion. And, you served, you should have it, and making sure that we're taking care of our fellow veterans, because a lot of people do volunteer at the VA hospital. This is really good stuff to help people with their claims, in my opinion. Let's see, priority group 5, non-service connected veterans and non-compensable service-connected veterans rated by the VA as 0% disabled, who have an annual income below the VA's means test thresholds, veterans receiving VA pension benefits, and veterans eligible for Medicaid programs. Now, I always switch these up, but if I remember correctly, Medicaid is for the older folks. That's the one when you're retired, you're a senior citizen, you get Medicaid. Let's see, here we go. This one is priority group 3. This is going to be a lot of flipping back and forth because it's on 2 pages. Let's see. Now, this is the original priority group I was in. Veterans who are former prisoners of war, veterans awarded the Purple Heart Medal, veterans whose discharge was for a disability that was incurred or aggravated in the line of duty. So if you got discharged for an injury, you're automatically in priority group 3. Let's see, veterans with VA rated service disabilities, either 10 or 20% disabling. Veterans awarded special eligibility classification under Title 38, benefits for individuals disabled by treatment or vocational rehab. Veterans whose entitlement to disability compensation is suspended because they are recipients of military pay. Veterans receiving compensation at 10% rating level based on multiple non-compensable service-connected disabilities that clearly interfere with normal employability. Priority group 2 is veterans with service-connected disabilities, either 30 or 40%. And then priority group 1, which is the one I'm in now, veterans with service-connected disabilities 50% or more, veterans found by the VA to be unemployable due to service-connected conditions or disabilities, so TDIU or TIDU, TDIU, I think it's TDIU, I can never remember. And then veterans awarded the Medal of Honor. Now, I do kind of... So what all does that include? So basically, preventative care, inpatient, home health care, medical supplies. Some could qualify for community living, if it's service connected or not. Travel benefits, but eyeglasses, hearing aids, and all that. It's kind of dependent on either circumstances or compelling reasonings, and if you do get service connected, you should get the first one for free. I think that you can always get them for free, but if you are like me and you're like, oh hey, I got this percentage, I was in this group, and then I got a higher percentage, now I'm in another group, I would ask to get a newer one because it does break down like plain language. This is covered, that's not covered. But it does cover a lot, and a lot of benefits do qualify for the care. Um, and honestly, most veterans do have a rating. It's more rare that a veteran doesn't have a rating from their time of service than there isn't, even in times of peace, just because of jobs like your MOS or whatever you did in the military, and some just have them like have conditions but don't go to the VA, unfortunately. So I did want to actually do that breakdown because I think it's very, very important to talk about these things. Now, while I'm talking about claims, I do want to continue this train of thought because they are one of the most well known, I should say, benefits that veterans get is disability compensation for service connected disabilities. And I want to talk about that real quick. I know not all veterans qualify for it, but ballpark 9 out of 10 vets, like I don't actually know the rating, but 9 out of 10 vets I would gather have at least some form of service connected disability, or would qualify for it, but either are fighting or don't think that they will get it. But each condition has its own system, how much it determines how much it affects a veteran. This is also known as a schedule of ratings. Each condition gets rated on a scale. Some start at 0, some start at 10, some stop at 50%, like migraines only go up to 50%, I believe, at least as a secondary condition. But they get rated on how much it affects the veteran's day-to-day life and employment, and that is what creates that percentage. And the total of the percentages are added up, and this makes the total number that will determine the amount a veteran will be compensated. Now, there is a lot of veterans benefits and claims like CivDiv. I think that's what he is on YouTube. But anyway, like there's a lot of like veteran disability YouTubers and benefits experts on YouTube that talk about these, and they always say funny math because the VA does a lot of funny math. Because sometimes you would think like if you have a 10% disability rating for one thing and a 70% for another thing, you would think it would just add up to 80, but it really doesn't. So take my percentage, for example. I'm at 70% for my mental health, and my ankle. But my ankle is really it's pain, and it's chronic pain, but we don't know why it's chronic pain. So right now it's just rated at a 10. But my mental health is rated at a 70. So like I said, you would think that would equal 80, but it's still 70. My ankle is still service connected, but because it was only given 10% as the only thing that was connected, but since I have something else, it's still service connected, but it's not adding to the total because it's a symptom and we don't have the causation yet. But hoping down the road that it gets a little more taken care of, we figure out what's going on because it is screwing up my knee and my back. And also, while we're on the topic, let's go over the current, as of 2025, veterans' disability compensation rates. Because this is how some vets are able to, not work or, basically use this as additional income while working. Because, if you aren't TDIU, you can work even at 100% permanent total. Most vets at that rate don't because of how much it affects them. But I've seen veterans who do with some with sleep apnea, it really screws their sleep up and everything. So they I think he was at 100%. This was years ago. But he was still working and still did his job and everything. He has his own construction business, I think. So it was a little easier for him to work as a boss than work as the guys on the ground and building the buildings. All right, so this change in price increase did go into effect December 1st of last year, 2024. It did used to be a little lower, but some things did get bumped up. So 10%, you're looking at $175.51. 20%, you're looking at $346.95. And unfortunately, you won't receive higher pay even if you have dependents at either 10 or 20%. So that is a little bit of a bummer, but these can take care of like your grocery bill or a utility bill. So it's nothing to like squawk at. And you also get certain benefits being service connected, like going to the commissary. Let's see here. So we got these are going to be between 30 and 100% with just spouse or dependent parents, like if you're taking care of your parents, your parents live with you, but no children. All right, so if you're alone as a veteran, 30% is $537.42. 40% is $774.16. 50% is a little over $1,100, and 60% is just shy of $1,400. With a spouse, it goes up to $601.42 for 30, $860 almost for 40%, a little over $1,200 for 50%, and just a hair shy of over $1,500 for 60%. And it looks like if you have a parent with one parent living with you and your spouse, it goes up about 50 to $80, depending on the rate. With two parents, it does that twice. And you can check these out at va.gov/disability/compensation TAC rates. Or you just look up what I do is current veteran disability scheduling or payments. Now, I will say if you do have children, the increase of the amount that goes with children, or like aid and stuff, does increase with each increase. So, like, say if you have your 30%, you have a child under 18. For each additional one, you get $31, but if you're at 60%, it's $63. So having a higher rating with dependents does make things a lot easier for you. Let's see. And then we're going to go to 70 and above. So 70% right now is getting $1,759. 80 is getting a little over $2,000. 90 is getting just shy of $2,300, and 100% is getting a little over $3,800, which is not something to sneeze at. That's a lot of money. With just a spouse, no parents, no children, you're looking at just a hair over $1,900. At 80%, you're looking at $2,200. 90, you're looking at about $2,500, and 100%, you're looking just a hair over $4,000. And then, like I said earlier, it's going to keep going up with each additional parent, and then children, it's going to go up even more. And of course, if you have dependents including children, that's even more. Like, so say if you were, let's just go to the big one, right? Like if you're 100% disabled with one child and a spouse, you're looking at $4,200. And then if you have like the whole family living together and you're taking care of both your parents and a kid, you're looking at just a little over $4,500 a month. And then of course the same additional increases for each additional child. So it's nothing to really sneeze at. It's definitely great benefits to have. I did want to add that because while not every single veteran qualifies for it, there's a lot of us that do qualify for service-connected disabilities, and I think every veteran should try. Even if you don't think you will get it, the worst thing they could say is no. But I always tell my fellow veterans, just try, because the care that you are going to get is going to be a lot better than if you didn't try. So always try, in my opinion. These are going to be a little, going forward, a little not as well known kind of benefits. Um, so not a lot of people realize the National Park Pass is a thing. And this is one of the first things I learned thanks to r/veteran benefits on Reddit. So shout out to that subreddit, like huge shout out because they've helped a lot for me and getting my benefits. Now you can get into many national parks for free just with your veteran health identification card or even your just the veteran logo on your driver's license or state ID. But you can go in person to any national park or online to get a lifetime free lifetime National Park Pass. If you do go online, it is $10. It's pretty much just covering the shipping and printing it and sending it to you. The big difference is if you're like me and you don't live anywhere really close to a national park. I live by a lot of state, parks, but not national. So it's a lot easier for me to just get the free one. And I believe that you can also, if you are a spouse of a veteran, you can also get a free spouse and dependents, I should say, just dependents of a veteran. You should get a free 1-year National Park Pass. It's not a lifetime, unfortunately. You do have to apply every year for it, but still getting free passes is really great. And in fact, I'm going to go over to the website to actually break that down a little further. So the National Park Services does have these things. So let's see here. Military Annual Pass, who's eligible? Current members of the armed forces and their dependents are eligible for Military Annual Pass. Military Lifetime Pass. Veterans and members of the Gold Star families are eligible for lifetime passes. Let's see. And then who's not covered, or what is not covered? This is the part I really wanted to talk about. So the passes don't cover or provide discounts on other fees, such as like if you're going to like Yellowstone, that's a national park. It's not going to cover the camping fees or the tours or any permits, reservation fees, or fees for organizing groups or concessions. Those are still going to be out of your pocket, but I mean, that still goes back into the park, and I don't really have a problem with that. I'm not sure anybody who would, but it is definitely something that helps the park. The passes does include, so you don't have to have or be a dependent of a veteran to go with a veteran for free. So the pass does admit the pass holder, as well as occupants of a single non-private, non-commercial vehicle, or the pass holder in 3 persons 16 and older, where the person's fees are changed. So basically, if you're not in anything that's like a school bus or bigger, you can bring people inside. Now, I do want to talk about something that the Marines who listen to this podcast are going to be really, really, really excited about. Are you ready, Marines? Veterans can get a free annual pass to the Crayola Experience. The Crayola Experience. So I've been to the Easton, PA one. I believe there's another one in Orlando. Let me look because I have the website pulled up. Is it in Orlando? Okay, so yeah, they have Chandler, Arizona, Easton, PA, the one I went to, the Mall of America in Michigan, I believe, Orlando, Florida, and Plano, Texas. So they have 5, which is really cool. That's a lot more than I thought they originally had. This is under their True Blue Heroes annual pass. It's a free annual pass to military, firefighters, law enforcement, EMTs. And it comes with pass holder perks, including unlimited visits for a full year, 20% off on-site purchases. So that's food, merchandise, the whole 9 yards. There are quarterly bring a friend for free day, but there was like certain days you can do that. Um, but it's really cool. And it states here U.S. military includes active, retired, and veterans. So you don't have to be a veteran or in the service like Blue Star Museum programs. I believe they only do like you're currently in like reservist guard or active duty. But Crayola you can get in if you're a veteran. So, and a little side tangent with the Crayola experience. That was a really fun thing to do because I did that. I think right before I left, it was like one of the last big family things before I left for the military. Um, and it was really fun. I did that with my little sister, and there were some pictures of us. And you actually get to make your own crayons, which I thought was really cool. You can make your own colors, so definitely something I think if you have kids, is definitely something to look into. Or if you're a Marine and you want a snack, you can actually go to where it's made and get the really, really big packs with the crayon sharpener at the end. I know you guys like them. Let's see what else. But while I'm on the topic, many amusement parks and museums do offer free or heavily discounted annual passes or visits for veterans and their families. I just did on Veterans Day or the day after last year. I bought me and my spouse season passes for Busch Gardens, and it was actually cheaper than the 2 tickets and unlimited food that I bought for us to go to Virginia and visit. So, and it gives you free general parking too. So, like, it's not a bad deal. And I know Disney World, they have their Shades of Green resort. So here's the big thing with that. If you have your DD-214 and you have an honorable discharge, you can stay at the Shades of Green, but only in the months of January and September. So pretty much the off seasons. But if you have a veteran health identification card that states you were a prisoner of war, you had a Purple Heart, or you're service connected, you can go to Shades of Green. Now, Shades of Green is still expensive. It's still Disney World. It's still really expensive. But it's cheaper than the other ones. You're in the park, essentially. And I believe you get some meals for free. I'm not 100% sure. There's a lot of information on Shades of Green, so it'll be me sitting here for 20 minutes trying to find the right information. But you can go on their website, and I'll put the website for that in the show notes. Or try to, anyway. Another one is LinkedIn. LinkedIn offers, this is something I didn't know till yesterday. LinkedIn offers free premium subscriptions to veterans. You just have to verify your veteran status with the Share ID service that they use. It's kind of like GovX, I guess. But yeah, you can get free LinkedIn premium. So that's really great because I know some veterans are looking for jobs, or if you're looking to change your career or just like go to another company or expand, like if you own your business, LinkedIn is a really great tool to get employees. So like that's a really cool thing to have, and I really appreciate the person that told me about that. Another thing is VR&E, or Veteran Readiness and Employment. So I'm actually pulled up their own website here. You may receive VRE, formerly known as Vocational Rehab and Employment services to help with job training, education, employment accommodations, resume development, and job seeking skills coachings. That's weird. And job seeking skills coaching. That's how it's written. Other services may be provided to assist veterans and service members in starting their own business or independent living services for those who are severely disabled and unable to work in traditional employment. And then it tells you about the page here and how, where to look and how to apply and everything. I will tell you, it is very much like claims. You will basically get a social worker, I believe is what they're considered technically. But you'll get a person who kind of oversees it. And it does have a lot. Like, I've only had 2 conversations with mine, and I basically got ghosted. And unfortunately, that's a lot that happens to some people. And it's gotten even worse since the layoffs. Now, if you don't qualify for VRE, because I don't know the stipulations on that, but I do want to add that for everybody that it is, as of everything it says, it looks like it's just for every veteran. So I did want to add this. But if you don't qualify or if it's taking too long to get anything done, don't worry. Many states and cities have either local official government teams that help with veterans find jobs. Typically, these are a part of the unemployment offices that they run, or there's organizations that help veterans find jobs, and they're just their own veterans or like a nonprofit. I want to add a big shout out here to Pittsburgh Hires Vets. They helped me find and get my last job before I ended up quitting because they were breaking labor laws, but they actually did a lot. They were trying to help me get like remote jobs. They were trying to help me like get training. There was I don't have it right now, but there is like a training thing that if you go to like one of these colleges, they give you like certification training for free, which is really nice because like for IT, you need like a 34E certification or something like that to work here in PA. It's something like that. I don't remember, but yeah, big shout out to them because they were very helpful. And I guarantee there's one in every state. Some of them might not be the best. Looking at you, Virginia, but definitely can't hurt to look and see if these guys can help you. Now, the most common benefit, I would say this is even more well known than claims benefits. It's discounts. It is straight up just discounts. I actually saw a TikTok from the Broken Joe podcast today on TikTok that one person was complaining about veterans getting the 10% off discount, and he was like, the recruiting office door was always open, which is kind of true, unless it's Air Force. They kept their door closed to me, assholes. But yeah, there are discounts to a lot of things. State-run programs, like state parks and everything, you can get in for discounted or free as well, depending on the state you live in. But some states offer hunting and fishing licenses for either free or discounted, which is really cool because I'm personally looking into getting this done because I want to go fishing again, and it's been a long time. And there's a fly fishing veteran group in my area. I've never gone fly fishing, but I might give it a shot. Many stores offer store discounts. Not all of them, but some do. Some it's 10, some it's 20. Honestly, even if a store doesn't fully offer a veterans discount, it never hurts to ask. I've gone to a Golden Corral down in Virginia. They didn't offer the discount, but the one up near where I live does. They just technically put it under the senior discount, but nobody really gives a crap. So it never hurts to ask. If you don't get it, cool. If you do get it, cooler. But also veteran preference parking. I believe Lowe's does this now. I haven't seen it in person yet. I don't go to Lowe's a lot. I prefer Harbor Freight personally. Not sponsored, but I like Harbor Freight. But I know the local grocery chain here in Pittsburgh, Giant Eagle, they have a veteran parking that my spouse really loves when I go grocery shopping with them because they would love to get into that parking spot. But also you can get discounts with like airport parking. I'm not sure if it's every airport, but I've seen some airports do like they waive the parking fee. You can get in certain spots a lot easier. Phone providers, internet providers, insurances, these kind of companies will also provide discounts for veterans. I know our phone bill could be once and if my partner's insurance, or sorry, edit out that last part. I know we could probably get our phone bill a little bit cheaper with my service connection, but we got to transfer everything into my name. And that's just nah. But the thing I always think is funny is groceries aren't discounted. It's never groceries. I get it, but like you would also get more vets going to the specific grocery store if they got like a 10% off discount. At least cover the tax, you know. I will say not all states have tax. PA is one of the ones that don't tax food, thankfully. Um, Sorry, I'm going on way too far of a side tangent. Well, there are many, many more benefits for veterans that have service connection, retiree status, and the like. I wanted to give a brief overview of what the most important things were that most, if not all, veterans should have access to. And like I said at the top of the episode, I am going to be doing other episodes of veterans benefits, veterans that are service connected can get, veterans that are in college, educational benefits. I'm going to be doing deeper dives on that stuff. But I figured I should do a veterans basics. I should do benefits basics right now. How, with everything how it is. We don't know if anything's changing. I hope nothing is changing. I'm knocking on wood right now. Nothing should be changing, but I wanted to make a note of how things are in this moment. This is February 22nd, 2025. If you're listening into the future, edit out that coughing. It is my hope that things will get better, and care and benefits won't get taken away from our community. But who knows? So as always, everyone, stay safe, stay hydrated, and stay vigilant.